this whole story. Um, I'm currently recording this on Friday, June 6th, but I'll probably have this go up on Saturday. So on Monday, I recorded a bunch of content, and that all set to go up. On Tuesday, I went to turn on my PC. As I always do, what I've done dozens of times over the years, and it just wouldn't turn on, no lighting up, no anything, so I unplugged all my components, plugged them back in. Again, no lights, no nothing. Okay, a little bit weird, I've never had that before. Didn't get a blue screen of death, didn't get anything. So that was weird. So, soldering on, I took out the power supply, reseated everything, put everything back in, which that's sort of drastic measure, and again, nothing. So I thought, okay, either my motherboard has died or my power supply has died. Now, my motherboard was the oldest part of my PC, so my PC is a pre-built that I bought on Amazon probably 8 or 9 years ago at this point. And I've slowly just been Frankensteining it along, upgrading RAM here, upgrading my graphics card here, putting in a new CPU here, that sort of thing. But I never changed out the motherboard. So I was like, okay, well, it was a really old motherboard, and so it might be dead. And the power supply I got, some people have issues with that brand dying after about a year and a half, 2 years, and that's about how long I'd had that power supply. So I was like, I'll just get both, because I need to upgrade the motherboard anyway, and if it's a power supply. So I upgraded to a modular power supply anyway, because my old one wasn't modular, and that's better anyway. I was like, alright, just those 2 upgrades, and we're good. And then brought it home, swapped all my components over to the new motherboard, got all hooked up with the modular power supply and all that. Got it hooked my computer up, plugged it in, and this time the LEDs, RGB, everything was powering on. But I wasn't getting any video output, even though it was powered on. So that was strange. So I did everything, testing it with just one RAM stick, trying different RAM slots, taking out the graphics card, trying to run it on integrated graphics, reseating the graphics card. I even took out the CPU and reseated the CPU, checked my pins, nothing was bent, and no issues across the board. Or actually, no issues, nothing fixed it. Nothing fixed it across the board. So I called up the place I bought the parts from, and I said, like, hey, I kind of explained what happened. I was in earlier, got this motherboard, got this power supply, this is what's happening. And then I scheduled the guy for today to take my PC in, and he thought, okay, maybe my RAM was bad, he was going to test my RAM. So I took my whole PC and everything, and they had a testing rig there. And he was like, alright, so he took out my CPU, checked my CPU in their testing rig. It was fine, so it wasn't the CPU. Took out my RAM sticks, tested my RAM in their testing rig, and it was fine, it wasn't my RAM. He tested my power supply, wasn't the power supply. He tested my motherboard, wasn't my motherboard. Or well, it sort of was, but we'll get to that. So I have a 5000 series Ryzen CPU, and for some reason the motherboard wasn't recognizing that CPU, but they had an older, I think 3000 series Ryzen CPU that they put in, and I recognized that. So he's like, okay, so the motherboard isn't bad, we just need to update the BIOS to recognize your CPU. He's like, we don't know why it wouldn't have like automatically recognized it, but he thought that was the problem. I was like, okay, great, because he determined that none of the hardware components were bad. And so he's like, yeah, just give me a couple minutes. And then he called me back in. He's like, yeah, so it's showing a BIOS version on this motherboard that doesn't exist. And I looked at it and he was right. The motherboard that I had purchased, it was showing a BIOS version that was never released. You can look at the motherboard support page and that BIOS isn't there. And it was showing a date, like a release date for the BIOS version, and also none of the BIOS versions were released on that date. And also the motherboard would not accept the flash. Like we couldn't flash it to the new BIOS. It was just outright denying being flashed. So he's like, okay, it's a faulty motherboard. Since you purchased it from us, we'll swap it out for a new one. No problem. And I watched him do it. He got the new motherboard, put all my components in it. And he had the motherboard like out on the desk, and he had everything hooked up, and I watched him. And he installed everything. I saw it boot up to the BIOS screen, and it was completely working. My motherboard, my CPU, my graphics card, my RAM, all my components, my power supply, the motherboard out on the table, all hooked up, and it was working. I saw it on the monitor there. I saw him flash the updated BIOS. I saw everything turned on, turned off, no problems. So in my mind, I'm thinking, great, we're all done here. He takes the motherboard, puts it in my case, gets it all situated in my case, plugs it back in, the LEDs turn on, and there is no video output. None. Exactly what it was doing before. So at this point, we've determined that none of the hardware components are faulty, because they worked in the test rig, and they worked on the motherboard outside of the PC case. But the minute the motherboard went into my PC case and was, screwed into the PC case, then it had issues again. And he was like, I have never seen anything like this before. And I was like, I need to revive, because, over the last 2 or 3 months, I have built 3 computers from scratch. I built one for my wife, which is the one that I'm actually currently recording this video on. It's the computer I built for my wife. And then we have some family friends, and they have some kids' birthdays coming up in July, August. And I built 2 PCs, one for each of their kids for their birthdays. Like they paid me to build PCs for their kids. So it's not like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm pretty technologically savvy when it comes to PCs, and I just didn't have the tools at my disposal to do all the diagnostic work here at home myself. Like, I didn't have the test rig, I didn't have like all that stuff they have there. I don't have the sterile workshop environment that you need. Like, we have a dog and all this other stuff, so I can't have all these components strewn all about. We don't have the countertop space to get that set up. Because usually I hate paying people to work on my PC. Like, it's like, I'll just do it myself. But in this instance, like, I just didn't have the capacity, and he was really cool about it as well. So yeah, that's where we're at. I ended up having to leave my PC there over the weekend, and this Monday is a public holiday. It's the king's birthday, so he's not gonna work on it on Monday. So Tuesday, I'm gonna go on my lunch break and hopefully pick it up if they figured out what's wrong with it. At this point, I wonder if I need a new case. Like, the only thing I can think of is if somehow my case is shorting out the motherboard. But I've been using that case for, almost a decade at this point, and I've never had this issue with my previous motherboard, and I don't know why it would be any different here. For the life of me, it doesn't make sense. I've never heard of anything like that. Like, well, I know a case can technically, theoretically, short out a motherboard, but it is so incredibly rare that it just, I don't know, it's such a weird situation, but at this point I literally can't think of what else could be the problem. So yeah, hopefully Tuesday on my lunch break I'll go pick that up, and I'll be back at, like usual, making new content, making new videos, and if anything, hopefully it'll be better, because as you'll notice, that blinking issue that I frequently have with my videos, I realized the problem there was the speed of the USB ports on my old motherboard couldn't handle the signal coming from the camera. So the new motherboard that I got is the same one that I put in this PC that I built for my wife that I'm currently recording on right now. So hopefully it has faster USB drives, and I got a new SSD because my old motherboard did not support PCIe M2 solid state drives, but this motherboard supports 2, so I'm going to have a PCIe SSD solid state drive that I'll be recording all my videos directly into again. So we're going to have faster USB ports, and we're going to have faster read-write speed, so hopefully that'll get rid of all the flickering that I've had with my videos in the past, because I know that I've gotten a lot of comments about that, and it's something that has bothered me. But as you can see here, now that's just what am I going to record over the next couple days, because we do have the long weekend now, like I mentioned, so my plan was to record a bunch of content over the next few days and schedule it out over the next 2 weeks. But then my PC died, and so now I just am recording into my wife's PC, and her graphics card is not as good as mine. I gave her my old graphics card when I upgraded to a brand new GTX. So I had a pretty beastie graphics card because I do video editing and all that stuff with my PC. So like with this PC, I won't be able to really do multitasking, recording like screen and camera at the same time, or game and camera especially. So I'm not sure what I'll do, but I might have to do like maybe I'll do a tier maker video. It's been a while, or some other stuff, and I don't have access to any of my usual things like Photoshop or video editing programs on here, so we'll see. My apologies in advance if this video is a bit, if the sound's a bit weird, and we're not gonna have the members thing in the beginning, unfortunately. I probably should have sorted that, but anyway, it's just a small little setback there. Hopefully it'll all be sorted. Hoping for the best. At this point. So, alright. Well, they had just a short video here. Like I said, I'm not sure what tomorrow as I'm going to be uploading this, and I'll have another video going up in another day or two after this. I'm going to be recording it, obviously, as soon as I hit stop recording here in OBS. But I don't yet know what it's going to be, because I have some more limitations here, but we'll figure it out, ladies and germs. Quickly, one other thing. That's if you're still here, because those, like, the real shooters, you're staying to the end of the video. I recorded a bunch of WWE 2K25 Universe Mode stuff. So what I did is I made an entire 40-man roster of custom create wrestlers in 2K. I did a custom universe, and I made my own custom pay-per-views, weekly shows, and all that stuff to do a completely like custom original promotion and storylines, and I recorded a bunch of it. Like I recorded probably 10 hours worth of this stuff, and I was gonna edit it down, like commentate over it, and like present it like a wrestling storyline. Obviously, this is all my old PC, so I have to wait till I get it back. But I know the game's been out for quite a while now, and I don't know if there's any demand for it. And this would be on my second channel, not an ASMR video. But if that's something you're interested in, or there's no interest in it, I might just ditch it, and it'll be something that I have, you know, in my personal backlog or whatever else. But anyways, let me know. Thank you so very much for watching this video. Thank you for your continued support. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this every single week. Till next time, guys. Bye bye.